freshmen this morning. Ooh, that's very exciting. So Renee, once again, hopefully I'm pronouncing your name correctly. There is some directions on that attendance sheet. However, I do know they're old versions. So any of you who have not done that before, time clock is located on your Launchpad. You will need your employee ID number, which is the last 3 of your social, and then your birth date with 2 digits for the month, 2 digits for the date, and 2 digits for the year. You can either clock in and clock out at the desired time, or you can manage a timesheet and just state after the fact what times you worked in there. Oh yes, so Renee, you will definitely want to go back in and do the manage the timesheet, as that will allow you to record the times you use for other ones. Okay, I am going to start recording this. Manage timesheet. Yeah, no worries. Okay. Oh, someone did start recording for me. Okay. All right, so we are recording, and I'm going to present my screen. Maybe. There it goes.
Raquel, I'm going to interrupt.
Yeah, go for it.
We found out yesterday that the person recording will get the video instead of you, so you should stop them recording and start from your account, I think.
Can do. I feel like someone did one for me yesterday. But we'll try it. Sorry, whoever. Oh, it says it's going to be in my Google Drive.
Okay. We'll maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it sends it to both of them.
Maybe. We'll try it. We'll see how it goes. All right. So one thing today is going to be a little bit, feel like a little awkward as I present, simply because I will be trying to write on the screen, and there might be a couple times that I'm typing. And so I do know often when you're typing and talking, things get a little bit wonky. So if I end up doing any sort of typing, I might try to limit my talking at that point. And I'll try to limit the shaking of my screen so that that doesn't get too distracting as we are going. Okay, so first things first, let's get to my background. Okay, so you'll notice down here at the bottom, I have OneNote open. It is purple, so I already have it open. But for those of you who might not have it open, it should be located on your desktop in your Office folder. My device has been reimaged recently, so I have Office 2019. That was something that we were working on as a district and did not get to all of our schools. So some of you might have, I want to say, Office 2016. But either way, you would want to open up that folder on your desktop. And this is just one way to get to it. When I open that folder, I will have all of my different Office products that the school district has purchased for us. And within there is OneNote 2016. So all the other ones are 2019, but OneNote is 2016. It is kind of a weird, so last we were told they are not supporting, and not that they're not supporting, I shouldn't say that. They're not making like a whole bunch of new additions to the OneNote 2016 software. There is also an online version that you can also sync up with your phones and your tablets and stuff. You can also download that. And I think actually, I think I have it. If I'm saying this, yes. Okay. So if I go on to my circle, or you might have a magnifying glass, if I type in 1, you'll notice that I have 2 different ones here as well. So the OneNote 2016 has the N with like the pages behind it, and it says the app. This OneNote was from the web store. They are technically the same thing. However, they look very different. So I'm going to be focusing at this time on the one that is located on your desktop in the Office 2000 whatever folder you have, and then it's called Office OneNote 2016. Now, the one thing that I cannot remember what this looks like for those of you who are just starting for the very first time, simply because I've had it open so many times that I don't remember what it looks like for you. So if you have a question, if you're like, hey, my screen looks different, let me know so then we can kind of work our way through it and figure out where all of you are at. Okay, just peeking in. Yes, okay, good point, Emma. Thank you for bringing that up. I forgot about that. You do need to log in. It's cleaning up since the last time it was open. Mine did that too. I think I shut mine too fast, and that's why it was cleaning up then once it was open. You should be okay there. You should be able to log in with your Green Bay School District account. The benefits to that is that if you get the other OneNote one, if you get it to your phone, you will have it be able to sync across devices. It does not support school email. It says OneNote cannot find a documents folder or the folder is read-only. Mine said it'd be read-only. Okay, I'm not sure about the read-only. It could be just being cranky with us being off campus, I'm wondering. If someone is getting, Nuke, I don't remember having to have a Microsoft account. Not saying you're not right. I don't remember having to do that. I think, and it's still open. Okay, so some of you could try that. X out of some of those and open it. We're coming through hot and heavy right now.
Raquel, I think I got that the first time I did it too. It wanted me to sign in with a Microsoft, and I just X'd out, and it still opened it.
Okay. All right, and let it try and go for a little while. And that's what I'm trying to remember. I knew, like, I think I want to say I used my school email, but I set it up with the personal option. Because I think one of the choices in there is like a personal or a school. I said it was personal, but I used my school email, even though it wasn't personal. Because when you say, after you put in there like when you're going to log in, if you're choosing the school one, it's letting the system know that the school district has an account, and that's not accurate. So you want to choose the personal one to use with your school account. Very confusing, I know. It looks like it is working for some of you to X out and then let you in. So that's good to know. Won't work for my desktop folder or the 8. All right. So those of you who are not letting you in, probably going to have you try and touch base with us at the end and just kind of watch and follow on for now, simply so that we can show some of the different cool features. And then hopefully if there are individuals that are still not able to get in, we can work one-on-one with you to see what's going on. Looks like another one able to, excellent, Greg, you could skip the screen. Okay, so yeah, so you'll notice up at the top here, it's found me in here. When I had opened up the other OneNote application, you saw some of my notes and they were technically crossing over. It's a personal preference for me. I just like the layout of this one better. I like having my pages the way it's set up. It's a very different setup on the other OneNote application. So this is just a personal preference. You are more than welcome to play with the other one. I had to download it from the Microsoft Web Store, and I can show that in a minute as well. So it's, you know, completely preference on what works for you. Okay, so if we are looking here at OneNote, so you'll notice, just like all of our normal Office applications, we have all of our normal tabs across the top here, but then we have other tabs here as well. Yours might look slightly different. So the way I have mine set up, this little drop down here, these are different notebooks. And so the way I like to explain it is that think about your kids who have 6 different classes throughout their day. This is first hour, second hour's notebook. You know, these are completely separate notebooks. They don't interact with one another. It just happened to work out that personal ends up being the one that I end up using for the most part. So if I go to my personal one, now think about this notebook as one of those 5 subject notebooks. So within this large notebook, I can have different sections. And so if you think about those yellow pages that separate each one out, that's where this is kind of separating them. So I have this whole new section here. Here's a section. Here's a section. Here's a section. So now I'm going to go back to this test section. This is the one I primarily live in for trainings. Within this section, now I have my individual pages. And so all of my individual pages will then be listed all the way throughout here. So if you take a peek at my 1920 school year, you'll notice I have pages, but I can actually even have a page within a page. So it really does allow for some really good organizing for what works for you. If I navigate back up to the top here with this drop down, I can also see some of my other ones. So I'm going to go to my WIMTA one because I know I've got some good stuff in there. Well, actually, there's only one section right now within my WIMTA notebook, but I do have a couple of different pages listed off to the side. Some people like to have their notebooks pinned to the side here. So if I pin this one, now I can always see all of my different notebooks and navigate between them. Since I primarily live in my personal one, I don't usually pin them because then that way I still have that extra access. Just because you do have this navigation here on both the left and the right sides, I like to unpin mine so I still have all of this space here. So the personal one is, okay, let me start here actually. Most of you should have this OneNote 2010 guide. And I assume I just have that because I started it way back when, and so this kind of breaks it down. I'd be curious to know if any of you just opened OneNote for the first time, if you have an updated like 2016 guide. So they're breaking it down the same way. It just looks a little bit older on this really sweet computer that they have. So if you kind of forget, if you have this OneNote guide, it does the same thing. It just breaks it down into different ideas for you and basics and top uses. If you wanted to create a brand new notebook, you have your option up here at the top. You'll notice this one is bolded. I'm not actually sure why it's bold. I think it's because I haven't truly opened it. But this one was the one that was shared with me from someone else. You'll notice it's got the X on it because it's having issues syncing. So if I hover over it, at the very bottom of that little box that pops up, it's telling me that there is an error syncing. And so what you're going to notice right underneath where it says Bridges Grade 3, Unit 3, this is where it's telling you where it's saving this file. So if I go back up to my personal one, I'm having the same issue with this one because it says Staff 2, Users, RLRAN, OneNote Notebooks. So this one is going to have issues syncing. So if I were, which I can't, but if I were to go to a school and try to open up OneNote, they're not going to get any of my new pieces or anything new that I've added because it can't reach the Staff 2. It can't reach my M drive because I'm not on campus. My WIMTA one, however, is under OneDrive. So this one is syncing online, and so that's why that one's not having any issues, as well as TI notes. It is good to know where your folder is syncing to. And so some of you who are making that comment that the folder says it can't find it, this is probably what's going on because it's trying to access the district server and it's not able to. That was a lot of information there. All right, Shelly, how are we doing on questions? Okay. I have no open notebooks. All
Sorry,
right, let's see if we
I was
can that.
answering most of them. A lot of people just can't get in, and I'm just telling them to watch. And I was playing on my own OneNote, and I am also having trouble. So it might be that we're all trying our server issues.
Yeah, and that's what I'm wondering, that since I've already opened mine previously and on this computer multiple times, if that's why mine is running. But I am seeing that X, so I'm going to have to make sure that my things are getting saved correctly.
So Lorna, sorry, says, I have no notebooks and can't figure out how to add one. Is that something that maybe you should show quick?
Yeah.
I would get that same error message. So I got to the screen you're on right now, but I have like connect and it wants me to sign in, and then it keeps kind of going in a circle.
Okay. Okay, so up at the top, I had that option to do an add notebook. Otherwise, at the very, very top, and this is what it looks like on mine. So obviously knowing that if some of yours are doing something different, it might look a little different as well. So the very top, there is that back button. Oh, that's not what I want. I'm sorry. I wanted file. That was incorrect knowledge. Click on file. And then here, I can see more information about my notebook information. And so this one here is living on OneDrive. So is this one. These two are the ones that are living on my staff drive. This is where you could view people or invite people if I wanted Shelly to have my TI notes, which I'm not even sure what's all in there. I could invite her to this one so that she could view it as well. I also have the option here where it says new to create a notebook. Now this here is if you are not able to log in, it might not let you do it on the OneDrive. But if I keep it clicked on OneDrive, this is where I'm going to be able to access it no matter like what device I'm on. So even if I go on my phone, I can access it. If I click on PC, then when I create it, I'm going to want to choose a different folder because it's going to want to go to your staff shared drive. And since you can't access that, you're going to probably want to drop it, and not even probably, you're going to want to drop it onto like your desktop folder. So I'm going to show you. If I, oh, that G is struggling for me. So if I create it in a different folder, maybe, this is where I'm going to want to choose to put it on my desktop. And then it creates. So if I go, here is my training notebook folder, because in that way it's located on my computer. With the knowledge that if something were to happen, if I all of a sudden dumped my tea on my computer, that there is a good chance that I'm going to lose anything that's in that notebook. Oh, that's not what I want. Sorry guys, I got too many things open here. So now I once again have this notebook. When I hover up here as well, it shows me that it is located on my desktop. Was anyone able to get in better that way by creating a notebook that way?
Yes, Raquel, it worked for me.
Cool. All right. Oh, we've got someone who's able to create a notebook using my personal OneDrive. Okay, good to know. We technically don't have OneDrive accounts. A few people do. Excuse me. Okay. Once you have your training notebook, and I'm going to actually go back into personal because I already have some things done in here that's easy to see. So I have my multiple sections here, and you'll notice that they are different colored. So if you want to be able to easily see them, those are different things that you can make different changes. Way at the bottom here, you'll see section color. I know some people were working at one of our schools. They had gone through, and each label was a different kid's name. Some people set it up that each label across the top is a different subject category. Some people have done it where each of these sections are different units, you know, so it really is whatever works for you and how you're going to use it. So I'm going to come back into my test section. And so now, anytime I want to add a new page, we have this option here at the top to add a page. It comes up as untitled page. The first thing you really want to do is make sure you've got some sort of title on here so that you know what you're doing. As soon as you type, whatever you type there is going to show up over here. You can always right-click here and rename it from your page side as well. When I do a right-click, this is also where I can make it as a sub-page. So right now, this is a top page. If I make it a sub-page, now it goes underneath the PDF. So whatever page it's under, that's going to be the page that it is a sub-page of. And so then I can minimize it so that I don't see any of those sub-pages. So one way you could utilize that is if you had, this was your overarching unit and you had information here, and then below it, you could set up different pages for your different parts of your unit as you work your way through it. So just some things, ideas of how you could do that. If you did not mean to make it a subpage, you could always promote as a subpage. Let me show that one more time. Promote subpage, and then that way it'll come back to the top layer. Oops, I want this one. All right, once you have a...
Raquel,
yeah.
sorry to interrupt. I have lots of questions on where that help guide was located. Could you show that again?
Honestly, that one just showed up. Like that has been one of mine since I opened this when I started in the school district years ago. It's just always been part of my OneNotes. And so maybe they no longer have that as an option when they create it.
Okay. Yeah, it's not showing on mine, so it must not happen anymore.
Yeah, I wasn't sure just because, yeah, since mine's been here for a long time. Not that I've been around that long in the district, but long enough. Okay. So now, I guess are there other questions? Because now we're going to talk about like using this space. So there are other questions that I should touch base on, Shelly?
Yes. Can you record your voice while you're taking notes was the most recent question.
Yeah, there are some fun things that we can do with that. So let's look at some of those things. So on a OneNote, you have a variety of things that you can do. So first off, I could just be taking notes and work my way through here. One of the reasons that I like OneNote is because I have all of this open space here on my right side. I can start in a brand new spot, you know, and type, have new boxes, and they can be wherever I want them. So one way I use them, I had some to-dos, and I can have them all on one page easily for me, so I don't have to scroll down. And that way I can easily see all of my information, and I feel like I am using the entire page then. If I'm on here using either my mouse or my finger, I can actually drag my line over, and I could have more information, and I could keep going over and have more information. Once again, with my fingers, I find it easiest. I can pinch and I can pull my page in so I can see all of the information that I have on here. Now, if I was like, whoa, I didn't want this way over here, it's just a text box that I can easily move over. And then using my fingers again, I am just pinching out. So using my pointer and my thumb, and I'm just pinching and pinching in and pulling out, I guess, so that I can see it up closer. So I really like having that option of having, you know, random text boxes wherever I want. And then because we have our awesome touchscreen devices with our stylus, there are a lot of times that I like to take hand notes. Or as we're talking, you know, I might be moving around, and sometimes it's just a lot easier for for me to be writing notes, you know, as we're brainstorming things. I just want to be plopping them in. So on this one, you know, we were just spitballing things that we want to buy and possibly get for a new building. And so it was, I just needed to write them as fast as I could, but I was standing, so I really couldn't do a good job of typing. So it was a lot easier for me to be able to write. And then I was able to come back in and add notes later on when I was like, oh, I had to add more information, and I could just draw lines off to the sides with it. So those are the basics. And then, I mean, I can, you know, if I have them, I can do my list and cross things off. But we can also do some marking up of other items. So across the top, we have our different toolbars that Office supplies us with. So our home one is going to be your basic tools that you might want to use. Instead of having the small ones, you could choose a heading. And so now when I type, you'll notice it's a little bit bigger. This one's kind of a fun one. I could do a checkbox. So I just popped it in. So a lot of times I like to choose where I am first, do a checkbox, and now if you're a checkbox person, you can do that. The other thing is I've got some other fun ones, important. You can do questions, remember for later, so it will highlight it for you. You do have the option to just change your size, your text, bold, all that information like normal over here as well. So that's your home one. But the insert tab is going to be a helpful one, because this is where you could bring in other pictures or PDFs that you would want to annotate over top of. So I'm going to actually go to this page because we have nothing on it right now. So I'm going to choose that file printout, and I am going to use this PDF. I've just found that PDFs seem to work the best. So if you have a Microsoft Word document, or if you have a Google Sheet, a Google Doc, both of those could be made into a PDF easily upon saving. If you're not sure how, I can show that later on. But then you can pull that into your OneNote page. And so actually, this PDF was originally empty of all this writing. I actually pulled this into my OneNote. Oh no, I did it in a different one. I'm sorry. But I could have pulled it into OneNote and filled in my information here. So now I have, you know, this worksheet that I'm working on with the kids, and I'm trying to explain things to them. And so now I could be crossing things off. I could be answering the problem for them, showing them how to complete different things. If I come back to home, I'm sorry. Jumping ahead of myself. If I want to bring the draw one, so now I have different options. So right now I've just been doing it all in black. If I wanted to find or highlight things, really point out pieces, my line's not very straight there, I can choose that. So I'm pointing those different things out to the kids or whoever I'm recording so they can see those pieces of information. So I went to insert and I did a file print out, and I pulled that into my page so that I can annotate over the top of it. And then using the draw tools, I just used some of my different colors so that I could point out different pieces easier from them or for them. As long as I'm on draw, let's quick point out, you have different options. You can choose your color and thickness for whatever you would like. You can also allow it to draw with your touch. So right now I'm trying to touch on my screen, and you'll notice it's kind of going all over the place, and that's because I don't have that draw with touch on. Now that it's on, now I'm using my finger as opposed to my stylus, and so now I can use my finger to do it. You do also have some of these tools here. So those of you, if you want to, if you want to point with a nice fancy arrow, whatever your last draw tool was is what it will use for you for the coloring. I'm gonna add another new page just because it's easier to keep things clean for me for right now. So I'll probably be bumping back and forth between our insert and draw as I show a couple more things. There might also be times that you want to pull in a picture. And now I already saved one. So I have this butterfly one. As long as it's any type of picture format, you'll be able to pull it in. I want my pointer. There it goes. I was trying to get it to. All right, so now I have the life cycle of a butterfly. And so I could utilize that to, point out different things for my students. So to make that picture bigger, I had gotten into this box and was able to pull it down. I could, shift it a little bit bigger that way as well. I'm going to get over to my draw tool because I'm still on the green one and I don't want to be on that. So I'm going to choose a black pen. Now you'll notice before I had gotten that accidental green line. And so using my stylus, there are two buttons on there if you're not familiar with it. If I press and hold the button that's closest to the tip of the stylus, and then I go over top of my writing, it will allow me to erase any of that writing. So now if I have a picture in here, I can do the same thing. I can point out, here's our butterfly. It lays eggs. Then we go to the caterpillar. I could also find ones and white out the eggs. And then, as we talk about it, like, okay, boys and girls, this is your worksheet. They won't see this. You need to fill this in as we're going through what the life cycle of a butterfly is. Excuse me. So someone had asked before about recording audio and recording video. I'm a little cautious to do that just because we are recording already within, but it will continue until you get the little stop button. I do know some classroom teachers were using that as like to record notes with their students as they were doing some readings. I have not done this in quite a while, so I was not planning to point that out just because we've been showing some of the other different tools that you can use to record, but you're definitely welcome to try that if you would like. Also in this insert tab, we have some page templates. Those are going to be coming from Microsoft Office. Just like they have some of those other templates like in Word and stuff, that's going to be the same thing. Those of you, I know Mr. Sawyer, I hope you're still in here. You might find this helpful if you're doing them. They do have some different equations and symbols. If you are a math teacher, I feel like this is something that we always rely on Tom because I don't know what any of this means. It's been much too long since I've worked on any of that. So I can bring that equation in, and for those of you who understand what that means, hopefully that makes sense to you as well. There's also different symbols that you wouldn't see on your keyboard. So you have a variety of different ones, as well as more symbols that you can then pull in from different fonts, just like you would. WebThings is always the favorite. Different symbols that you would possibly need. More specifically thinking your division, your multiplication, some of those weird math symbols and science symbols that you might need. All right, so that was the insert tab. You can also do tables, and that one's pretty self-explanatory, I feel. You could also pull in a spreadsheet if you had an Excel spreadsheet. You could pull that in too. All right, Shelly, how we doing?
Sorry, typing and then trying to unmute my mic.
I do that too.
Can you change your writing into text, which I thought you had said yes, so maybe you could show that.
Yep.
And then the other question is, could students use this to write on the PDF and then send it back to you? And my only response was they don't have the touchscreen computers, remember, and the stylus. Do they have OneNote at all?
Yeah, and OneNote won't work on their devices. There is another program that I am working on learning a little bit more about. We just got it approved this year after 2 years of me kind of hoping for it. So I am looking at that. It's supposed to allow, it would be an extension for students. So I am looking at some of those things and possibly doing a training on that. That one is called, if you want to look on your own, it's called Kami. I'm going to type it in here for you. Kami. It is on our district's green approved list. And I'm hoping to do a session on that next week at some point as well. All right, so let's talk about ink to text. So underneath the draw, you'll see this ink to text and ink to math. It's kind of weird how it's set up because you'll notice the ink to text is grayed out, but the ink to math is not. So we're going to start with the ink to math because the ink to math comes up this way. I'm not always the best with this. So if I do 3, see if it'll give it 5. Oh, I didn't find my period. But we'll just take that equation. Now I have a mathematical equation that looks a little bit neater than my handwriting maybe would have. So that is one way you can do that. From going from your inking to math. And sometimes I've had issues with the ink to text. So I'm going to set this up so that I can actually write a word on here. All right. There it goes. Perfect. Okay. So let me do that one more time. I write my word. Ooh, throwing my stylus around. So I write my text, and I'm just going to write a couple words on here. And I want to point out, and I did that one on purpose. That was really sloppiness, so we can kind of see what happens. Using my mouse, I am going to select all of it. Coming to my draw tab, now my ink to text is no longer grayed out. And it did get my testing. So even though that the T, I, and N were all pretty much overlapping, it actually did a really good job of getting my word. I didn't realize there was so much space, but now I can easily go back and adjust that space. If I wanted to actually say texting, I can always go back and edit that text that I converted as well. So that was underneath, once again, that was underneath draw, and way at the end, the ink to text and ink to math. All right. Another cool thing that OneNote does, I just looked at it earlier. What was it under? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, it was under view. So under the last one, under view, they have these two options here. So if you don't like this color, you can change your page color. So you could change it to pink. You could change it to blue, depending on what you're working on. The other thing that's really helpful is this rule lines. And so when I choose that one, now I get some lined paper options. So I think Alona was in here too. So Alona and Sawyer, I was thinking of you possibly with some of these grid lines. They might find it helpful. If any of you are elementary, they do have some nice big lined paper. Even those of you who are not elementary might be helpful. When my computer is in normal laptop mode, it's really hard to do this. And just allowing me to write on my screen. Now, one thing I want to point out, as I was just writing there, I actually was using my pinky to steady myself. And that's really hard to see because you can't see my hand. But I'm using my pinky. It's resting on the screen so that as I write, I don't have to rest the rest of my hand on here because it's in regular laptop mode. If I was able to flip this and put it into tablet mode, it would be a little bit different. I could hold it and actually write on it like a notebook. But I can be touching with my finger as I am writing with my stylus. So don't be afraid to touch with your finger to balance yourself out. And you'll notice it wasn't getting any marks. It's only when I'm touching on the screen where you're seeing it move, that's because I'm using my finger to move the screen. It's not making the marks on there instead.
Raquel, is there staff paper for music teachers in there?
I don't believe so. However, if you found a page of staff paper from like online, you could pull that in as a PDF and then you could write over top of it that way. You can also, as you can see here, I didn't even mean to be on there. There's that rule line color. So if you don't like your colors, it changes your colors. And obviously, because my page is blue, you're seeing the purple, or the blue and the purple lines there. And this is where, you have your different grid lines, really tiny, or you can make it bigger. You can't change, though, the size of the grid lines. What's available here, those are your only options. There are a lot of other things that you can play with and try out in here as well. Those are some of the things that I wanted to showcase. I think we had a couple of elementary teachers in here, and I know some of our teachers were using OneNote to do some writing over top when they pull in like the different PDFs. So going forward, that might be an option as you start getting comfortable. You could also use this, so if we were talking about some of those problem strings, but also thinking, our high school math teachers, our social studies teachers, you could be pulling in, remember, I don't know your content well, you could be pulling in a map of the United States as you're talking about the different locations and where things are happening. It's really easy to pull in those different pictures and write over top of them, pulling in those different PDFs and using them that way. All right. There was one thing.
2 quick questions I've got for you, Raquel.
Sure.
Can you insert more than one page at a time, like a packet of pages?
You can, and the only thing, I know you can because we've done it. However, it's been a while since I've done that one, and I cannot remember exactly. I want to say it was still the same way with just inserting a printout. Just right now at this time, I'm totally spacing on how to do that. But
okay, Bobby Joe just answered in the text that yes, you can, and it numbers the pages.
Yeah, perfect. Good to know.
Okay. And then the other question was, if you record, do you know where it saves?
I don't remember, no. Let's find out. Yeah, let me do a little. I think it saves it actually right here. It said it started. Where's my, oh, I want this.
They also want to know what it looked like when you were recording.
Well, here it says that it's recording. I think I accidentally stopped it. Oh, no, it's up here. Haha, sorry. So right now it is recording. So if you're seeing my screen still, you'll see at the top it said recording. And now there's this new tab across here that says recording. And then I can pause it, holler at my kids that I need them to do something, and then I could keep going. Notice how it changed there. Pause it again, get my dog to stop howling, keep it going. The only thing that's weird is keep clicking that pause button. And then if I'm totally done, now you can see the time here, and then I can click the stop button. Let's see where it's sent. Ooh, it can't embed the recording file. And I'm guessing, I'm going to try something really fast. All right, let's see how this goes. And I'm wondering if a few of these are going to have issues because of the not being on the server. Yep. Although it says it's there, but it's not saving it. So I'm going to take a guess and say it has something to do with being on the server, even though I told this one to save to the desktop. First time doing a OneNote training from home, so learning some different things about it. Was there another question, Shelley, that you said that I missed?
No, I think you got them all.
Okay. All right. What other? Who else has other questions? Is that about? Shelley, how are we doing on the attendance?
Well, I'm just taking screenshots and copying it over so I could do it later. So I'll be okay with the attendance.
Okay, sounds good.
There was a couple questions here at the end if you want to check the comments quick, Shayna.
Sure, I can. Let me drop it down to the bottom here. Bobby, I'm not sure what you mean, be able to save and put it in our classroom. So my thought process of using OneNote is so that if you have files, but you would be using something else then to do the actual recording. So yes, what Michael is saying, I would be using either WeVideo, Screencastify, or Google Meet, but using OneNote to be able to do the writing on it. Nuke, you are famous.
Can you read Shayna's comment about where, if it's not syncing, where it's going? I don't know.
It's kind of just saving in a generic location. I would make sure that when you set it up, you tell it right now to save to your desktop. And so it looks like it wants to go. So if I click on that little X, it wants it to sync automatically whenever there are changes. And so right now, it's showing me my shared notebook synchronization. And so it's angry because I am not on the staff. And it might be unsafe because of that. Now, there is a way to change it, but until we started talking about it, I didn't think about it, so I have to relook. There is a way to change it so that it saves. So like these ones are happy because they are not on the staff shared drive. So I do know there is a way to move it over so that you can sync while you're at home. If it's on, why isn't it showing me my other one? So like the training one, because this one's on my desktop, it's not worried about syncing because it's only on one computer. And so that one is happy as well because it's not having any issues with the syncing. Corey, some days that's how I feel too. No idea why it worked, it just worked. Let's work to that app. And some of the extensions always make me nervous. So someone pointed out an extension called DocHub. A lot of times those make me nervous because then it ends up pulling in things and messing with your Chrome. That's where I was kind of looking at Cami, simply because I know it is a district approved one. Alana, if you're still not in, maybe we can work together at some point to see if we can get you in. Multiple people saying they pulled it in multi-page document. They can hear your phone. You can save it as a PDF, and then you can, as it said, you know, or as someone wrote in here, numbers it like a packet, which is helpful for you to be able to go back and work your way through those pages. I know. So same thing about that Cami, someone else saying heard good things about it. I know that at semester time, when we added more things to our approved list, that's when Cami got added, and have not had time to really dig deeper into that one either. Greg, I knew you'd like the equation writer. Kind of just popping through our chat, see if there's other questions that I should touch base on. And yes, so Shelly, you made a comment that yes, you could email the file or share it for class content. But like you said, you know, there is that they won't be able to always open it. It's probably better to save it as a PDF for them to view in that regard. Like if you marked up the page, then you want to save it so that you can edit it that way. OneNote doesn't play super nicely with Drive. You kind of want to be able to pull this. So I guess my advantage to using Google Doc or to using OneNote as opposed to Google Docs or Slideshow is that I can annotate on it directly. So it all depends on, you know, what you're using it for. If you're using it for your own notes, just thinking that this would be a great way as people are creating different lessons and videos. If you need to be writing and drawing things, like if you're just typing, then, you know, you should be good. But if you need to be typing on top of it, you know, that's where the OneNote comes in handy. You would take your green screen home with you. So to delete a notebook, I've actually never deleted one. Let's find out. Notebook recycle bin. So I think I can. So I sent it to the recycle bin, but it's still there. I've never actually deleted a notebook before. So I can close it, and now it's not viewable anymore. So if I wanted to reopen it, I would have to come into open and hopefully find it there. Yep, there's that training notebook that I had created, but I completely closed it so that I couldn't find it at all. I'm not seeing a way to just completely delete it though. Michelle, you're stuck in a loop here. You're trying to create that new notebook. Maybe start by putting it on your desktop then if you wanted to. Oh, you get, Laura, can you share then how you were able to actually delete it? I've never tried to. I've never had a reason to delete it. So, no. So this OneNote, this is for you as the teacher, not for the students to be typing on, because they don't have access to OneNote on their Chromebooks. So this is a teacher tool as you're creating lessons. We don't have OneDrive. So that's where you want to choose a personal account, but log in with, when you're doing that login, you have a personal account, but log in with your school email.
Here I can step in and talk about how I deleted it if you'd like.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic if you could.
In the different folders, like that where it says like new section 1 or let me see if I can find your screen again versus my face. Where are you?
I want to delete the section up here. I've never deleted the whole.
Yeah, I guess that's where I deleted because I was just creating some samples for myself and uploading some PDFs, and then that's how I just deleted it. I right-clicked and then pressed delete.
Okay.
Right where you are right now, yeah.
So that's a good point.
Deleted,
So
but I didn't delete the entire notebook.
Okay. Yeah, if I have the pages on the side here, I can easily delete this page. If I have a new subsection within the notebook, I can do a right click on there. I can delete that. I could have a new section within a section, which is a lot of things. Delete it. Yes. So just not sure about deleting an entire notebook. I'm not sure about that. I mean, it looks like it can send it to the recycle bin. Doesn't seem to truly go anywhere, though. Yes, I agree with you, Nathaniel. Use the WeVideo or Screencastify or Hangouts to then get it to the students to that video. Sheena, probably for now, you could send it to your desktop if you can get it that way, just because since we're not on the network. For now, that's probably where you're going to want to put it. I did drop the time clock code and the attendance sheet. If you have not, let's see, we were at 82. I didn't see, we're dropping down now. I know people are leaving.
I think I got the attendance, Raquel.
Fantastic. Okay. All right, make sure you do clock in. If you have questions, feel free to keep asking. You are welcome, Katie. Thank you for all of you who joined us this morning to learn a little bit about OneNote. And thank you for joining us. Feel free to hop out as your questions are answered. Yes. Okay, so Michelle, if we choose OneNote, yes, it would save to the cloud, and then that's where you can then access it from an app on your phone. But if that right now is not allowing you to do it, that's where then I would put it on the desktop if you just want to play with it. So Bobby, do you know what camera you need to use for it to capture your screen? Depends on what you're using, Bobby. If you're doing the recording right within OneNote, it's going to be recording you as opposed to your screen. So it depends on which resource you're using that you want to record your screen. Pamela, maybe we can take a look at it. Just because I've been logged in now so many times, hopefully I can see it on someone else's at personal versus the school. Good luck, Audrey. Alana, same thing. Maybe we can look at it. Maybe one of you can present to me so I can see your screens. Our students have a math workbook at home. How do we put pages in our OneNote? So hopefully you have access to that same math workbook. If it is the Bridges ones, you can access, Lisa, all of the Bridges pages from the Bridges website, and you can download their PDFs if you want to pull them in here. If you are middle school or high school, I'm not entirely sure where your math files are stored or located. So we'd have to look into that. And then, or if you just have the math workbook yourself, you could always take a picture of it and upload it that way too. You guys are welcome. Thank you for coming in. I don't think there is. So that's where, so this is really confusing, but you have to, if I'm remembering correctly, just because it's been so long, you have to choose the personal option, but then you use your Google, your school district email account when you sign into the personal one. I don't know. Was the Google Forms training canceled, Nathaniel? Let's see what we got. Shelly, do you know? It looks like it should be today at 10:30. Is it not in Frontline?
I'm sorry, what were you looking for?
Nathaniel was asking about the Google Forms training. It looks like it was supposed to be at 10:30 today that Lindsay was doing it. All right, I got a bunch of questions. I'm going to quick see if I can finish off Nathaniel's before I come back to see what some of the other ones were.
Yeah, it was supposed to be at 10:30. Maybe we can see if Shannon can get that back in there. I'll email her quick.
Do you want to pop Lindsay in on that too and make sure that? Yep. Okay. All right, Nathaniel, we'll look at it. Not sure. All right, sorry, you guys are going to see all my gazillion emails. All right, not sure. Not sure about that one, Nathaniel. We'll have to keep an eye on it. Hold on, I'm almost done. Okay. Print it into a PDF with your phone with a free app and then upload it. Yes, what Tina said. Yeah, take a picture, pull it in as a PDF or as a picture then. Oh, and Nathaniel, I'm not sure about that Think Central Science consumable. I would assume if you could share it or save that page as a PDF, you would be able to do it. The other option, I love this little icon down here at the bottom. This is the snip and sketch feature. You could always use this to snip whatever is on your screen. And then once you snip that, you could save it as a picture, and then you could pull that in. It would get you, whatever you could fit on your desktop screen is what you'd be able to snip, but that might be one workaround if you can't save directly from Think Central. Oh, Tina, you're still seeing it? Huh. Weird. Oh, I wonder if Forms is completely full. So those, okay, let's see here. Jean, if you are in Frontline, so I wonder if maybe that's why we're not seeing it, if it's because it's completely full, if it's not an option now. I'm not sure. All right. Okay, so that's what I'm wondering. Also interesting, though, that it's not on the calendar. So that's why I'm wondering if it is completely full. Jean, can you see how many people are signed up for it? Oh, interesting. So it's not even like it's at full. So one of you who is still here and having issues logging in, I'm gonna stop. Actually, I'm gonna let it keep recording. Oh my goodness, I'm blowing up somewhere. If one of you would want to present your screen, I'd like to see what you're seeing, just because mine's already logged in. So in just a second, if you can go back to if you're in the Hangout at the bottom, you do the you are presenting and then share your screen with me. I'll stop presenting in just a second. So you'll choose you are presenting, choose your screen or your whole screen or whatever it is. And then we'll see if we can look at your Frontline, not Frontline, I'm sorry, your OneNote. All right, so I'm gonna stop presenting. Would one of you be willing to do it? Let's see if we had either Jennifer, Pam, or Alona. You would be willing. Okay, Jennifer, thanks. Okay. Who do we got? Looks like Jennifer, right? Yeah. Oh, there it is, Jennifer Wild. All right, so if you're here. Oh, and this is even different than what it used to be. Okay.
Did you see that?
I did. Can you go? Okay, so that's where she was able to X out. So if you X out, does it just keep popping this page back up?
If I X out here?
No. So that box there, does that just keep popping up for you then?
When I go to sign in, you mean? Yes.
So that's interesting. Okay, so that's new because within the last couple months, it always gave the option to see how it's saying like at Microsoft. What if you choose sign in with another account?
I tried that and
What does it do here?
it's a different email.
Have you ever created one though before?
No.
Okay, so let's do that. Let's try clicking on create one.
Where's
Can
that?
you hear me, guys? This is the screen where I X'd out and didn't create an account. Like, don't log in.
Yeah.
And it worked. X out of that Microsoft.
See, when I did that, I have this, but I'm not signed in.
So right now it'll just save then to your desktop. Like you won't be able to access this across other devices would be the only thing.
Right, but then even like I tried to add another notebook and it wouldn't do that either.
So click
So-
this PC and then create a different folder is what I did right there.
But you got to type a name for your notebook first.
Okay.
Shayna, I'm gonna have to look at it just because this is the first time doing this training.
Oh, I can't do it in the same one. It just has to be a different document.
Wait, say that again, Jennifer.
So it won't be like a second one like you have like here. It'll be
Yeah, you should be able to do that. Click that little plus button. You should be able to have a. So now you can have your multiple sections across the top, and then, so that would be different subjects within like a 5-subject notebook.
and then can you add another like thing underneath it like you did?
Yep. So then you can just add your pages right there at the top to have multiple there.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, I guess if it's saving to my desktop, that's fine, but it's not signing in. So it's just not saving to anywhere else other than my desktop.
Right. At this time, no.
Okay.
This is just shooting from the hip here. I'm thinking that once we get to being on campus again regularly, I think you could pull the folder that's on your desktop and drop it into your M drive, and then be saving there, and then that way it would be able to be accessible across. It's just a whole new world that we are all navigating being.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. And Shanna, yes, Alona, you definitely can. Why don't you start presenting your screen while I answer the rest of Shayna's thing? I'll see if there's a, maybe we can chat with some of the other TIs and see if they remember about getting it to save, basically getting logged in to the OneNote so that it shares across devices. All right, Miss Alona, whenever you're ready, ma'am.
I'm trying. It's saying choose what to share.
Yep, so then just choose your whole screen.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. All right. So let
Okay, so you don't have open notebooks.
But see, it just didn't even have me sign in.
Yep,
just
so you
won't-
are also, yep, no sign. If you click on that sign in up at the top, what do you get?
Okay. So
Also,
then, and then if I do my school email, correct?
yeah,
And then,
Hmm. Yeah, so this is where I feel like it's trying to get us. So this is where it's missing the step that I was able to do, where I could sign in with a personal account previously. And so that's where I'm not totally sure, because that's how it allowed me to choose like a personal account, and then I wasn't signing into OneDrive with my school stuff. So I would maybe,
should I try like my school password, or will that not work?
no, it won't.
Okay.
So if you press the X on this, are you able to still create a notebook though?
Okay. How would I do that? Just like file or?
Yeah, so if you, right where it says notebooks, if you click the little arrow on it, so you can now add a notebook here. So this is where I would choose this PC.
This PC? Okay. Let's just make one up. And create notebook.
Oh, I think this is where, let's see if it'll go. This is where you might have to click that create in a different folder instead.
Okay.
Oh, I don't know what happened.
I'm annoyed. Oh, here we go.
But, okay. So this is, yeah, I would choose your desktop.
Okay.
And then, oh, it didn't pull your name in again.
Oh,
So,
you pull the name. So, okay. So what do I do then?
so just where it says notebook name. Yep, right there.
Oh, so then I can still play around with it then.
Yeah. Could you actually try one other thing for me while you're here? Okay, can you go to File up at the top? And then go down to where it says Account. It's a
Oh,
second.
gotcha.
Okay, let me see what yours says. Sorry, I'm just kind of looking at mine to see what I have. Yeah, so what's interesting is mine says OneDrive, but personal on it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where, like, I think that's where it looks like there's been something that's been changed and updated, is that I was able to do it as a personal. You got me. So if we click that sign in button, that's right there. See, it's still
Did you just do something, girls?
what?
Oh, sorry, I was still mic'd. My other computer went blank.
Oh, got it.
Should I type in my school email?
Well, and since you've never created it, it's more we want to create an account, but it's not even giving you that option.
Okay.
It could be Jennifer. Yeah, that mine's been reimaged. Could you try it again, Alana? Let's just see.
Sure.
Jennifer, depends on what kind of question and what your settings are. If you go into your settings, it should allow, like, you can change it if kids can see other students' answers. So if you click on, and I feel like we did this with Jennifer's, so if you click on sign in with another account, because really we want people to sign in with a personal one, because we've never created one. Click on, oh, we didn't do this one. Can you click on sign in options?
Sure.
I don't even know what GitHub is.
I don't either.
Can you click on the little question mark next to it?
Yeah, that won't work.
Nope. Huh.
All right.
See, and so that's so interesting, because I mean, we did this in November, and I was able to still log in at that point with my personal account. So unless they've kind of changed that setup then. What if you click
And
on,
then, I know I'm sounding like a broken record, but because it said Microsoft and I was using a Gmail, I thought this isn't right. So I just X'd out and it eventually went through and my name is in the top bar on the right-hand side and I didn't sign in where this Microsoft screen is.
so
Okay.
it sooner or later just lets you in?
It just let me in and then I created a new one. And when I did file new, I just had to make sure that I didn't sign in. I clicked on this PC instead of OneNote. And then somehow I got Rochelle Geisers at the top that I'm signed in, but I did not click on that Microsoft. I know I did.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, and so, like when I'm looking at mine, even, on my, like I'm attempting to do it on my phone and logging in, like it's still giving me the option there to choose a personal or like a school district create an account. And that's where it's kind of confusing.
Okay. So what do you suggest?
Just keep Xing out, I think, for now, and just using it based on your desktop.
Okay. So where do I want to go back then?
What if she starts from the very beginning, like close out the program?
Do that.
X out up here, you mean, and start
Yep.
over? All right.
I'm just curious.
All right. Well, it goes back to what I did with you, so.
Ladies, I apologize. I'm going to stop this recording. I'm going to pop out for a few minutes because I have another session at 10 o'clock. And I need to chat with my kiddo for a few minutes before my next session gets going.
Okay.
So I'm going to drop in the link if you guys would like to. So the next one at 10 o'clock is just the, like the general office hours. So you guys can pop in there and come ask a couple more questions. I just need to chat with my kiddo for a few minutes.
Okay. Sounds good. Otherwise, I can always email you, and play around with it and see what happens.
Yes, that sounds good.
All right. Thank you.
You bet. All right.
Yeah.
Shelly, I'm going to stop the recording.
Yep.
Or,
And I'll finish up the attendance sheet and there's 2 people